Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Sri Prabhupada Jivanamritam, life nectar of the surrendered souls, confidence in the Lord's protection. Rakshishyati Visvasa. Is that right? Yes, Visvasaha. Okay. Okay, so we're on we're on number 16. We just read about drowning in the vast ocean of material existence. Rupa Goswami is saying like that. Please now once lend me a helping hand to save me from this terrible ocean, swept by the tide of hallucination and illusion. Rupa Goswami is taking the role of, feeling like, knowing what the fallen soul is feeling, giving us that understanding of our approach. We're stuck in the ocean. We can't do anything. You're in the middle of the ocean. You can't possibly swim out. There's nowhere to go. So you have to look for that boat where someone is going to give you a line, a hand. Rupa Goswami is saying like that. Now the next verse, number 16, Guru Maharaj's summary. The devotee who needs immediate protection has full faith that the Lord will come to his aid. Vilambasa hamasya bhaktasya tadrakshana vishrabdatam. Vilambasa hanasya bhaktasya tadrakshana vishrabdatam. Okay. Sorry. So then next we have from Jagannath. I don't know whether it's Jagannath Das Babaji or who, but it says Jagannath. Oh, compassion incarnate, now I'm in danger. Oh Lord Hari, where is that urgency you showed in delivering Draupadi and liberating Gajendra? So this devotee is begging, Jagannathaya, that please help me. You showed mercy to Draupadi and Gajendra. Where is that mercy now for me? Oh dear Lord Hari, I'm in a terrible situation. I'm trapped in the illusory energy, and I have there's no hope. And this actually is the fear, because we are trapped. And we are beyond our own capacity to free ourselves. We have to think in that way. That the practice of sadhana and chanting, while we accept that as the direction of the guru, that chanting of our rounds, that hearing of the Shastra, that function of trying to serve in our day-to-day activities, all these things are just expressions of our necessity to, take shelter of the lotus feet of our Guru. Otherwise, it's not as though, we can't think that I'm going to do this and so I'm going to get a result. It's going to happen because I'm doing this. It just doesn't work like that. In the beginning, we may have thought like that, maybe not, depending on, where we are in terms of our devotional progress from previous lives. But, many think that by sadhana, the result will have to be produced. And rather, by sadhana, we come to a stage where we realize that there is no hope. But because we have the order of the Guru, we continue with that sadhana. But it becomes more and more an expression of our own hopelessness and desperation. We have nothing that we can do except that. That's like the line that our Guru has given us. So it becomes not only a required daily function, but it becomes an absolute necessity, just by the nature of our development and understanding in devotional life. As that grows and increases, our necessity grows and increases, and the necessity is manifest through our engagement in our sadhana, in our day-to-day seva. So both are there, though. We know from Srila Guru Maharaj, emphasis is given on the service. In the earlier stages, emphasis may be given on sadhana, but the actual service activity has the priority, as far as we understand in the middle stage. Sadhana is necessary, still there, but the actual expression of service, the feeling of necessity to give, that's the most important thing. And as it is manifest through our functions in direct service to Sri Guru. Okay, so the Sanskrit, Ya Draupadi Paritrane Ya Gajendrasya Mokshane Mayarte Karuna Murte Sa Tvam Kwa Gata Horde. O compassionate incarnate, O Hare, now I'm in danger. Karuna Murte, yes, compassionate incarnate. Karuna Murte. O Lord Hari, Hare, yes. Where is the urgency you showed in delivering Draupadi and liberating Gajendra? Ya Draupadi Paritrane Ya Gajendrasya Mokshane. So liberating Gajendra, Mokshane, Gajendrasya Mokshane, and in delivering, all right, Paritrane, delivering Draupadi. Where is that urgency? Now I'm begging you, please, show that same urgency in saving me as you showed saving them. So the devotee sees and learns by hearing, and comes into contact with the example of the great souls who have taken shelter of the Lord, and the Lord has given mercy. And so the devotee, as we see here with Jagannath, that the devotee comes into a position of connection with the Lord to such an extent that and feels such a necessity that he almost directly demands the Lord to descend and help him. This is an advanced high devotee, but this is a revelation, a direct vision, showing us how intimate is the relationship between the devotee and the Lord. The devotee actually comes to the stage where the Lord is so close that he can present a demand like that. You've liberated Gajendra. You've saved Draupadi. Now, please do that to me. Not only please, but where is that urgency you showed? You showed it with them, why not with me? This Jagannath is thinking like that. Okay, so now we have 17, Sri Draupadyaha. So Draupadi, from Draupadi in, must be Bhagavatam. It's not indicated, but given the words of Draupadi Guru Maharaj's summary, the revealed sweetness of confidence in the Lord's protection. Rakshishyatiti visvasya prakasha madhuryam. So the madhurya, the sweetness, prakasha, the light, the Guru Maharaj says the revelation, the revealed sweetness of that visvasya, the confidence, visvasya, in the Lord's protection, rakshishyati, the Lord's protection. So the devotee always feels that, Krishna will help me, because Krishna is God, and his position is such that he has compassion on all souls that are connected with him. Everybody, including even me, has got a connection with the Supreme Lord. So because that connection is there, because he's made it, we know that he will help us. It must be so. The devotee is thinking like that because he's come into full experience of the Lord and the Lord's nature. So we hear, this is Draupadi, a great devotee who sees the real nature of the Lord, that he'll always help us regardless of our terrible condition within the illusory energy. So the devotee feels like that, and this is Draupadi's expression. Like the sun ascending through the darkness, like a boat for the helplessly drowning, like a rain cloud of sweet waters for the parched, like a treasure for the impoverished, like a physician for the deadly afflicted. The Lord Sri Krishna is now coming to bless us with all good fortune. Sun ascending through the darkness, a boat, like the metaphor just given. We're stuck in the ocean, Rupa Goswami says, and there's no swimming out, and we can just barely keep our heads above water, but please give that helping hand. And here Draupadi talks about the boat coming for the helplessly drowning. We're stuck there. We're going to drown. There's no question about it. So we have to get help to get out. A rain cloud of sweet waters for the parched. We need to taste the fullness and the what's the word? The fullness and the satisfaction, the completeness of receiving the mercy of the Lord in the form of the experience of transcendental surrender, and the result of that gives us satisfaction of the desperate necessity that the devotee feels. Treasure for the impoverished, that's clear. Physician for the deadly afflicted. All these things Draupadi sees. That Lord Sri Krishna, you're coming in that way to bless us. Tamasi ravir ivodyan vajatam aplavanam plava eva trishtanam swadu varshiva Megaha Nirdi Iva Nidhasanam Titva Dukkha Maya Anam Bashag Iva Koshalam Na Datum Ayati Sorihi. Sun ascending through the darkness. Tamasi, the darkness. Ivodyam aplavanam, ascending through the darkness. Plava i trishtalam swada, I don't recognize, Omega. Okay. Oh, like a rain cloud of sweet waters for the parched, okay. And physician for the deadly afflicted. So all these things are fulfillment of the deliverance of the helpless. You know, a person who's afflicted with disease, the disease is overwhelming. There's nothing that the person can do except, you know, take shelter of the physician and hope that the physician will cure it. That's our condition in this world. But in relation to Krishna as the physician, we have full confidence that he will help us. This is, you know, again and again we're being reassured by the mercy of Srila Guru Maharaj, citing all these different shlokas that assure us that we will be helped. You know, if we continue and try, Krishna will come to help us. There's no doubt of that, no question of that. So we have confidence that ultimately we'll be delivered. Like we know the story of, was it Mukunda, who was made some offense, and Mahaprabhu said, you'll be delivered in 1 million lives, and he was ecstatic that yes, the time would come that he would be with the Lord. Because, you know, as a Vaishnava, as a real Vaishnava, a real devotee, in connection with the Lord, he sees material time for what it is, which is illusory. It passes like an instant in terms of our, you know, inner, deeper perception of eternal time. So, you know, even we come to the end of life, and we look back at our life, and it's all, you know, it's all transpired as though in a moment. You know, compacted, no doubt, with so many different experiences, but, you know, flying by. And, you know, what is that? What is the indication that is being given here by the arrangement of the Lord in terms of, you know, Kalaham, I am eternal time. I am that time that comes to, you know, slowly devastate every manifestation within the material world. I am that time. So, you know, the passage of time, what does it produce? It produces the experience that, you know, everything is destroyed. That's the lesson in the material world. Whatever we've done in the past is all, you know, wrapping up and coming to an end at the, you know, at the time of our leaving this material world. So what hope do we have in all those different, you know, activities in the material world? You know, it's just a dream. That kind of perspective we pray to develop by the grace of the Lord, that you will give me that feeling, that vision, that revelation that will allow me to transcend this time, this plague of eternal time, the plague of temporal time, which you know, causes us, you know, the feelings of expectation that through time we will become fulfilled. Something will happen in such a way so that we'll be fulfilled within the context of our own, you know, temporary conditioning. We'll somehow or other get what we need. But rather, we have to, you know, realize, both through our understanding given by our gurus and also by our practical experience, that the shelter of the temporary won't ultimately help us. You know, this has to be developed and realized, that, like Draupadi is saying here, physician for the deadly afflicted, rain cloud of sweet water for the parched, treasure for the impoverished, sun ascending through darkness, boat for helplessly drowning. All these metaphors are, happening in the material world and happening by higher arrangement, by the arrangement of the Lord, so that we can figure out, perceive what reality is, and then based on that beginning little perception, begin to develop a deeper understanding of what our position is. We get some inkling of what reality is by the grace of our Guru, and based on that little inkling that we feel, we begin to push ourselves in the right direction. And by that pushing, eventually we naturally realize that the pushing itself is not going to help, but rather the pushing itself is simply an expression of our desperation. And then within that desperation, we feel what's expressed here, like Draupadi, that the Lord will help us, that help will come. So we're desperate, we're hopeless, but at the same time, we've heard from the great souls, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj is giving us directly all these confirmations that are there in the scriptures that we will finally be helped. So that confidence is perceived, is developed through our connection, which comes about Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhar Ju Ki Jai. So it's developed by our connection in service, and the connection in service, brings about beginning feelings which gradually develop as we stay on the boat of devotional life. Sometimes it's like that. We have to just hold on and stay on the boat. Sometimes we're rowing, sometimes we're acting as captains, sometimes we're doing, we're laid out, half dead in the back of the boat, being resuscitated by one of our friends. So, it depends on the position, but the reality of the situation is that we're on the boat. If we can participate and propel the boat forward and help others to come closer to the Lord, that's so positive. But also, it's good, it's necessary that we hang on and show others the example of hanging on in the midst of the lack of ability to really stay. You have to just be in a condition where you're slipping. You may fall at any time, but you need the mercy of the Lord. And in that condition of necessity, the feeling, because there's reality, the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has reality. Because of that sense of reality, we understand his position, that he loves us and he's our friend and he will help. So this feeling, as we do our puja, as we do our, bathing the deity, chanting our rounds, doing our seva throughout the day, all these things lead us to the feeling that we're going to be helped. There's no question, but that the Lord will come to help us. Rakshishati Visvasaha, confidence in the Lord's protection. Shri Shri Prabhupada Jivanamritam Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay, Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Okay. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. This is Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta, Adi-lila, chapter 4, text 158. Yeah. So again, we're reading about the position of Lord Krishna. He's unprecedented in beauty, strength, and perceiving Krishna. We're told here by Kaviraj Goswami that it kind of shakes our whole being. The mind becomes unsteady, and we've just heard the women of Mathura saying, how is it that these gopis in Vrindavan have got this connection with the Lord? Where does this come from? It's unbelievable. And then before, the gopis are saying that these boys who are herding cows with Krishna, as watching him play his flute and dance, how are they so fortunate? How is it possible? The gopis are thinking like that, and the women of Mathura are thinking like that. All these different devotees engaged in their particular rasa in relation to Lord Krishna, they're all feeling amazed at the relations of the other devotees. It's like it's a state of amazement at the beauty, strength, fame, knowledge, position of Lord Krishna as a cowherd boy, or as a lover, or as a child, or as the Lord Himself, as a servant. To see and perceive that position and understand it in relation to the other devotees. There's a feeling of amazement at the fortune of the devotees, without thinking of their own position. Of course, understanding that their position is one of great fortune. Okay. So now we come to 158. Lord Krishna's own beauty attracts Lord Krishna himself, but because he cannot fully enjoy it, his mind remains full of sorrow. Wow. Okay. Krishnara madhurye Krishne upajaya lobha sangyak asvadite nare mane rahe shobha. Krishnara of Lord Krishna, madhurye, in that sweetness. Krishne upajaya, it arises a lobha, an eager desire to asvadite, to taste, but is not able to. Nare, mane. So his mind, rahe kshoba, it remains, it stands, it is being in the condition of sorrow, kshoba. Krishna's feeling, what can I do? This, I'm so attracted to my own beauty, but I can't experience it. I can't understand it. I can't enjoy it. So this is, like it's the achintya nature of the Lord. He can't understand how beautiful He is. He can't understand His qualities. Looking not from a perspective of someone who's outside of himself. He can't perceive that. So he's feeling, well, what can I do? I can't understand this. Even though He's the supreme transcendental Lord, He places Himself in that kind of position. And because He's placed Himself in that position, that's what it is. That's what it really is. Everything is, reality is based on the flickering desire of the Lord. However He wants, reality manifests. So with us, as we like begin to make some progress in devotional life, we see that. One day is ecstatic and we're engaged and everything's wonderful, and the next day we feel like things are not there. This is like what reality is. Even though we're just perceiving it a little bit, Krishna's like knocking it to us that I'm in control, not you. You can be happy or sad or in whatever condition, but your only position is one of desperation, and in that desperation, a feeling of impossibility of soothing that desperation. So when just no hope. So we have to, in our case, take shelter of the kindness and the beauty and the sweetness of the mercy of Sri Guru. So just to see the lotus feet, to see the form, the beautiful smiling face of Sri Guru, we get some relief in the midst of our feeling of desperation. This thing is growing in us, all along the way, as we sometimes get distracted by the illusory energy. It doesn't matter, because the real thing is growing, and the real thing, like we were just reading, is inevitably going to develop if we continue. We'll get the mercy of the Lord. We have that feeling of visvasaha, confidence that the Lord is going to come and help us. So anyway, Krishna is here in his natural position, feeling sorrow because he can't experience his own beauty. Okay, so the next, 159, this is a description of his second desire. Now please listen as I describe the third. Okay, he wants to experience his own beauty. And I think the earlier desire, the first desire, was to experience Krishna's sweetness. Okay. All right. Krishna himself makes efforts to taste that sweetness. Right. So first is he wants to feel his sweetness. Second, he wants to feel his own beauty. Now please listen as I describe the third. Kaviraj Goswami is taking us, on giving a glimpse of our journey. What is the journey and what is the destination? And, what is the basis for that journey, that process through which we leave behind the temporary and go to the eternal. Sambandha jnana, knowing that the real self is connected with Krishna and must be engaged in his service, that comes about within this world only by the connection with Sri Guru and the grace of Sri Guru. Otherwise, we don't have the consciousness to actually engage in service. The material world is, overwhelms everyone, and without the connection of Sri Guru, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, without these connections, one or all, or a little bit of one, will give us actual connection with reality, the beautiful. It's simply the grace of Sri Guru. So, Eta Dutiya Hitura Kahila Vivarana Triya Hitura Ebe Sunaha Lakshana. So now listen to this characteristic of the third, the Tritiya, the third Hitura, reason for his for his desire. Okay. Desire must be assumed in that. Okay, 160. The conclusion of rasa is extremely deep. Only Swarup Damodar knows much about it. Kaviraj Goswami is kind of giving us, his perspective, and from that, we can, from a distance, understand our own, limited perspective. But he's telling us, we don't know, I don't know, but Swarup Damodar knows about these deep things. The conclusion of rasa. What does it mean to be connected with the Lord in loving service? What does that? What is the final essence, the final manifest action that's there in the feeling of rasa? What is that? Swarup Damodar understands. Nobody else understands. Antyanta nirguda e rasera siddhanta sarupa gosai matra janera ekanta. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami, Swarup Gosai, he matra only. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya. Sukadukada. Okay. So only he knows the siddhanta, the conclusion of rasera, the nirguda rasera, the deep, extremely antyanta nirguda e rasera, the deep, the extremely deep experience of rasa. Only Swarup Damodar knows. 161. Anyone else who claims to know it must have heard it from him, for he was the most intimate companion of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, straight up, Kaviraj Goswami is telling us that only Swarup Damodar knows. Anybody who has any sense of it has gotten it from Swarup Damodar. Yeba keha anye jane seho tanha hoite. Chaitanya gosai tenha antyanta marma yate. Marma, the secret core. Antyanta, the extremely, he's a member of that extreme, secret, inner circle of the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Swarup Damodar, he knows, and anybody else who has any perception of this has received it from him. So Kaviraj Goswami is working with the notes of Swarup Damodar Gosai, and here he's giving, credit where credit is due, I guess. That it's by his grace that we understand this. It's kind of gives us indication of what is our position in relation to conveying our experience. How the basis of that experience is connection with the higher Vaishnava, and to duly give the higher Vaishnava credit for that experience within the context of our presentation about reality. It comes by the grace of the Vaishnava. That's it. And how it's come to us. If we have the capacity, which naturally comes and naturally develops. We read in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that the natural development of devotion will lead to the stage of a stage of stability in the Madhyama stage, where one can cite the conclusion of Scripture and cite the basis of that conclusion. Otherwise, the beginners in Madhyama can cite the conclusion, but not necessarily the the basis. And that's kind of my position. And others are in a position based on the development of their devotion. They're given capacity by the Lord according to their feeling of inner necessity. So when we see that in devotees, we worship it. It's a direct, manifestation, direct appearance of the symptom of connection with the Lord that's there before us and perceivable by us. So what can we do? We worship it. We honor the Vaishnavas who are given such blessing by the Supreme Lord, and we see that actually all around us. Everybody has got some particular blessing that has come by the grace of the Lord, some wonderful quality that is manifesting. And, it's there. And if we cultivate the vision to see that, then we get closer to what reality is. Whereas if we are stuck in the vision of constantly trying to find a flaw because we're uncertain of our own position and feeling some necessity to protect that position. This is our uncertainty in the material world and our fear in the material world, which, to one degree or other, depending on our own nature and our own development, is there and manifest in our feelings and activities. So we have to leave that nature behind, and sometimes check it, sometimes simply by in reality by overwhelming that tendency, the tendency of drain inspection with the tendency of seeing the quality of the Vaishnava. That will automatically overwhelm the temporary tendency, and we can feel it. If you start to, if we a little bit try to see like that, it becomes wondrous, becomes beautiful, and then because we're still conditioned, our mind gets pulled back. But we are getting glimpses of reality. There has to be no question of that. If we're staying on the boat, if we're connected, we'll get glimpses, maybe only now and then, but we will get glimpses, and it is happening. This Gurudev has assured us of that, as Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada also assured us that we would experience something of what our destination is on the journey. We would get glimpses of where we're going to, a little glimpse of the land off in the distance. And so we get that by the higher grace of the Lord. Okay, so now, Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhar Ju Ki Jai. So only Swarup Damodar knows this, and anyone who has heard it has gotten it from Swarup Damodar. So next, 162, the love of the gopis is called Ruddha Bhava. It is pure and spotless. It is not at any time lust. As already explained, the position of the gopis in their loving dealings with Krishna is transcendental. Their emotion is called Hari Hari Bol. Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhar Ju Ki Jai. Okay, this emotion is called Ruddha Bhava. The deep love that is pure and spotless. Although it is apparently like mundane sex, one should not confuse it with mundane sexual love, for it is pure and unadulterated love of Godhead. So it's, we're in a weird condition, we're in a weird situation, because, we're conditioned, so we perceive, temporary amorous affairs as being like the real objective of our, of our life. But the actual objective is in connection with the higher affairs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in connection with the gopis who are purely immersed in love for Krishna. So what they're doing is on the other side of the illusion. What is in the reflected tree, what is lowest in the reflected tree is highest in the real tree. So we have to, in the temporary position of being in the reflection, we have to direct ourselves away from the, apparent upper section and go towards the lower section, towards the root. This is like the journey. We have to head in that direction towards, the plane of transformation, where we get onto the land and begin to enter into the real tree. We have to withdraw from the temporary manifestation of what appears to be, the highest experience. And we've all around us, we're surrounded by people who have, direct philosophies like that, hedonistic type philosophies, so-called spiritual conclusions that say that, we're the supreme Brahman who's come to this world. Why? To enjoy, to experience the feeling and the pleasure of individual sense enjoyment. They think that's what's going on, but really, exactly what that is a distorted understanding of the real thing. So our position is it's the position that Ramanujacharya took in saying that the real personality of Godhead has the capacity to manifest individual loving relations that are not distorted and disturbed by the temporary illusion, by the comings and goings of experiences are sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes pleasurable, sometimes extremely painful. There's all this pain in this world, and what the heck is that? Why is everybody, in different ways, in different degrees, suffering? Some people are really suffering, and they're really in a bad condition, and we want to have mercy on them. But the mercy is not to adjust their material position, but the mercy is to give them experience of what the higher reality is, to give realization that it doesn't matter what condition you're in materially. Everyone has the right of spiritual experience. It's given by our natural, eternal condition. We have the right to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is how Srila Prabhupada framed it. That because of our eternal, natural position arranged by Krishna, we have that capacity. We have that inner right, that inner freedom to go into that position. And so we just have to, go in the right direction. And the only way we can do that is the grace of our Guru, and the Guru has given us, manifest structured arrangements whereby we can go in the right direction. So, how to apply that, mercy in our practical lives is different for everybody, and everybody has to pray to the mercy of Sri Guru. All the time. If we just remember that if we try to become dependent on the mercy of Sri Guru, we'll find it. Of course, it will be now and again, because that's just the nature of reality. And we have to come to terms with that that, you know, sometime I'm not going to be in a good condition, and that's just the way it is. You know, we have to just find a, you know, a higher position of reality that even transcendentally is beyond the, you know, the fluctuations of the reality of the beautiful, the whims of the Supreme Lord. There is a position that is, you know, stable existence in that world. Has like a foundation of love, which is only enhanced by the happenings in relation. Sometimes here, sometimes there. Both are enhancing, but the most enhancing is the one when he's gone, because that increases our necessity and increases our desire. So, you know, that's the way to see and understand when we run into difficulties, that it's you know, just given by higher grace, that is coming to push me in the right direction. So thank you, Sri Guru. Thank you, Sri Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. Thank you for giving this experience through the grace of my Guru. You know, so you know, we have this. Or at least before, we had this notion that, oh, we'll come to a place where, you know, everything will be, you know, wonderful and sharing, and it'll be in the material world. And we'll all share sense gratification and everything, you know, strawberry fields forever. But, you know, and this kind of notion is currently being like transposed onto the structure of spiritual experience. You just have to accept everyone, we're all together, everything is wonderful. Why these people are saying there's differences? They're just spoiling everything. But our reply is, Saraswati Thakur himself spoiled everything in Vrindavan. No Vaishnava he saw there. Not even, I forget his name, the big Babu, who everybody thought was, you know, the highest of the Uttamas, the possessor of full siddhi. But he said he's just at best, he's a beginning Kanishta. At best. And at worst, a full-blown Sahajya. So, you know, we discriminate. And why do we do that? Not because we feel we have the capacity, but because our gurus have the capacity and convey to us the necessity of being able to discriminate between what is correct on the path of devotion and what is incorrect. There are incorrect things. And there is positions which are not going in the right direction. Even if they say they are, if our guru shows, either by direct instruction or by, indirect revelation, that is confirmed by sadhu, shastra, and our own personal experience, we have to make discrimination. We have to see what is what. Call a spade, like Srila Gurudev has done, like Srila Guru Maharaj clearly has done, like Srila Prabhupada clearly has done, and even with more emphasis and more determined strength, Srila Saraswati Thakur has done. So it's not unusual. It's not shaking the boat. It's actual engagement in the natural process of devotion and dedication. We have to see the difference between a deviation from the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and the reality of closely following those instructions as was given by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, as was given by Srila Prabhupada, and as was manifest in the living devotional example of the life of Srila Govinda Maharaj. In my vision and the vision of many of us, his life was the direct vision of the instructions of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So we see in Srila Govinda Maharaj's life, the deep inner absorption of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and at the same time, the outer, pushing into the face, as Prabhupada told and Srila Govinda Maharaj told, he's blasted a tunnel for me to go into and continue the blasting. So Govinda Maharaj is there in the tunnel, blasted out by Srila Prabhupada and like fortified by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Like they do in tunnels, they put wood structures to support the surrounding stone or dirt. They have structures of beams and other things that hold the tunnel in place. So Srila Guru Maharaj has given us that, and we can't have one without the other. And that combined product, at the edge of the tunnel, digging out new territories, is Srila Govinda Maharaj. And by his grace, we have Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj and Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda, who have been given that charge of continuing the digging of the tunnel. And based on that instruction coming from Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and the fortification of the Siddhanta, the deep, what's the word? Reinforcing understanding given by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, understanding the structure and the depth of our Siddhanta, fortifies the tunnel, which otherwise, would collapse. So the tunnel is blasted and fortified and continued. This is our vision. Okay. Little off from Rudha Bhava, but that is our our understanding, that our approach to this Rudha Bhava out of the illusory world is laid out by the grace of our Guru. So I've talked too much. Tomorrow we hear a quote from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about the dear devotees headed by Uddhava celebrate the pure name, the pure love of the gopis by calling it kama, by calling it lust. But this is Sanskrit is such that depending on the context and depending on the consciousness behind the structure of the sutra, the mantra, the couplet that is formed, depending on the structure of the consciousness behind that, Sanskrit has, meanings of that can be applied to the absolute and meanings that can be applied to the temporary. Because the absolute is reality, the temporary is a reflection. So there's connection there, and this is how we utilize metaphors, because the metaphors that we find in this world, which give a practical expression of an understanding of reality. All these things are a product of the reflection of reality. This is the grace of our gurus. Okay, so it will be text 163. Oh, I didn't do the Sanskrit. Okay, it's Bengali. Gopi Ganera Premara Rudha Bhava Nama Vishuddha Nirmala Prema Kabunahi Kama. Kabunahi Kama. It's not lust. It's prema. Nirmala Prema. Spotless. Vishuddha Nirmala. Pure and spotless. What is it called? Rudha Bhava. The highest feeling of prema in the gopis. Gopi Ganera, of those persons who are so fortunate to be in the position of gopis. Chaitanya